I come from a very religious, conservative, backward society. So there is no conversation about how you're feeling, and not even really a conversation about when you start your period. It's like, okay, you started your period, here are the pads, and there is literally no conversation about your health, reproductive health. This is just that aspect. This is not even related to sex, you know. So if there's no conversation about this, how to groom yourself properly, and you just kind of learn as you go by yourself. And I remember the first time I really learned about sex was during school, sex education.
This was in England?
Yeah, it was in England. Yeah. I think I was probably, 10. I would say I was in year 5, 10 or 11.
I think that's when it starts, yeah.
And that's when they had so a lot of the Muslim families signed letters to school saying that they don't, it's just the stereotypical bullshit, It's always this bullshit that they do, which deny their children of education and just exposure and to explore their sexuality, and ask questions and grow up properly. They repress their sexuality by saying, it's too early to learn about sex. All this BS that they do. When kids already explore, they start exploring their sexuality at this age. And, they can Google things. And would you rather your child Google, or would you rather them have somebody in a classroom coming over and talking about all these things?
Yeah.
I know which one I would say yes to,
Yeah, the same people that say no to sex education, they always seem to say no. They always are against porn too, but that's what their kids are watching if they don't give them one. Yeah.
They watch a lot of porn, and that's how they know, and they feel guilty, and maybe, I don't know, they kind of project their insecurities on their children, maybe.
Yeah.
But I remember, that a lot of the kids were, Muslim kids were taken out of the classroom because, the parents didn't want them to, and I must have forgotten about it, Somehow I ended up in the classroom, and I was like, I didn't get the letter because it wasn't on my mind. And then I realized, oh, now it's the class. It's too late.
Yeah,
I'm sitting in the classroom.
Get the popcorn out.
Oh my God. I actually did not get the popcorn out, but I was like, okay. I turned my back to the screen, and then I was like curious. I was like, oh, to hell with it. So I just turned around. I turned around and I watched a woman giving birth, and I was like, holy shit. I don't know.
I wonder if we saw the same video. I wonder. The video I saw
was so
like sex education at like 10 or 11 years old. It was like once a week for about 6 weeks, and it was just a documentary basically that was made a very long time ago. And it was terrible. But it was more about where babies come from rather than sex education, I felt.
It was more about where babies came from, exactly. Yeah. And there was a woman, she was in the bed, and she gave birth, and the baby was coming out, and then she, I think we watched the same video, because I think they really used the same video. How many actors are you going to find who give birth like this on camera, when social media wasn't really that up and coming back then. But I watched it and I was so disgusted. I was literally disgusted. I could see, it was just wet, and it was so disgusting. And it was like, oh my God, I don't want to be in that position. Like, that was like, I always said, okay, maybe I'll have kids, but it was sort of something I was taught. But when I think about kids, I think about that moment, and I'm like, I do not want to be in labor. I don't want to look like that. I don't want this happening to my body. So it was like an instant rejection of what I'm expected to be. So that was like my first, and also seeing a naked body. And I was like, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't feel anything. I was just like, I'm disgusted, and that's everything. Okay, this is what I'm afraid of, or, like, I didn't tell anyone. Nobody knew that I actually was in the sex ed class, because I was like, holy shit, imagine if somebody finds out.
Yeah.
I'll get in trouble. So instead of having this conversation, I just pretended like it was a normal day at school. Nothing happened,
Well, so if people found out you were in sex education classes, it would get back to your parents or something?
Yeah, yeah, it would actually, because let's say if the kids are talking or the teacher, and it's sort of like, why are you interested in about sex ed? Look, she's already horny and she wants to have sex, and maybe
Wow,
we
it's
get
so
her married.
gossipy.
It's so gossipy, literally. It's so
Wow.
gossipy, and it's about your own kid, So it's like, in order to prevent that from happening, a lot of girls also get married earlier, child marriages, It's a way to control the women as well and get rid of
Even in
them
the
in a way.
West? Not in the West, though, I guess.
In the West too, when you are taken on holiday, let's say you're 12 or 13 years old, or let's say 15 or something, and you go on holiday, and for summer you're married, Islamically, legally you're not married, So,
Okay.
but you're still married. And then the process starts, and you have to bring your husband, or, that's how it is for a lot of women too.
Is that common, or is that unusual?
I would say I think it's sort of like, I wouldn't say it's unusual. I knew many girls who were married off. Like,
Wow.
you hear it, this cousin, she was, not wearing the hijab properly, and she was smoking. She was caught having a boyfriend, and now she's married or has a fiance. And then when you talk with those girls, it's like they portray, and I remember this one girl, I heard this about her, that she was caught having a boyfriend, and now has a fiance. And I remember, I don't know who it was, and not a cousin, but somehow friends of friends or whatever, family friends. And I met her, and she was like, yeah, I have a fiance now, and I can't wait to get married. And in my head, I was like, I heard all these things about this girl, and here she is looking forward to getting married to some weirdo she doesn't even know from Afghanistan. I don't know. I just felt what I heard about her didn't match what she was telling me, I felt like she was lying to me. I think she was probably 16 or something, 16 or 17.
Wow. I guess I remember around that age when people were kind of first getting like real boyfriends and girlfriends.
Yeah.
That there were girls that were like, oh, he proposed to me, we're engaged. And, they'd have like a crappy ring. And
yeah.
But, I felt it was more like just playing at being adults, There is an appeal to that for young girls and guys. When you're at that age, I think it's appealing to like kind of act more like an adult. But you are just acting for sure. It's
yeah, you're just acting.
You have
basically.
no idea of consequences
and that was like
work.
Punishment, of dealing with you being Western, and you have to now accept this husband. And anyway, so that was like what I saw. And if it had gone back to my parents, if they knew about it, then they would be like, why am I interested in all these things? And maybe I'm corrupted already, and the devil has taken over me. So
and
that would be the first. Yeah.
You were aware of that, though, and were smart enough to keep it secret.
I was aware of it. I was like, whatever I'm doing, I always follow the rules, It's not like I broke the rules most of the times. I didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't have sex. I didn't have these things. But there were certain things that I didn't tell, because I was like, it's just going to cause unnecessary discussions, and I don't want to have fights, and I don't want to get beaten up. So I was aware of it. I knew exactly. So I was trying to be very careful, for my own health.
Yeah. And that's beaten up by classmates or like...
No, by my family. By my family. I don't mean my classmates. Like, if they knew, they would have maybe, this has happened before, slapping me or hitting me with an object, humiliating, meaning, yeah. But those days are long gone.